Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nerds at Large Spoilercast for Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 6. I am one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I am Jeff Hale.
And, as always, first and final warning, all spoilers for Episode 6 Beyond the Wall we're going to be talking all spoilers, so definitely make sure you have seen the episode before you listen to us.
Yes.
Okay, Jeff, let's get into it. This was a very long,
Yes.
very eventful
Yes.
episode. The spectacle was like at new heights, I believe.
Indeed.
And it was pretty crazy. What do you think about it?
Yeah, definitely some crazy stuff in there. I think we're gonna have unpopular opinions again.
It seems to be a trend. That's kind of what we're doing on this show.
It is the fact we've been doing this for 6 months means we're more jaded and just trying to pick out little things more. That what's happening?
Maybe. Like I hope we're not just nitpicking to an absurd degree or something. I don't really feel like we are, but the internet at large makes me feel like we are. Yeah. That being said, like I haven't completely figured out exactly how I feel about this episode yet.
Yeah.
There are things in this episode that I loved that were crazy, and things that we've kind of been waiting to see in Game of Thrones for a long time. Like, with dragons at the wall and Daenerys and the dragons fighting White Walkers and stuff. And like visually, it's stunning. I mean, visually in general, like this season, there is zero complaints. They're knocking it out of the park when it comes to effects, and like some of the aerial shots and stuff we saw were just completely, especially for a freaking TV show, is insane. But we are, as me and you have been saying the last few weeks on this, doing these spoilercasts, we're really starting to see the effect of this shorter episode season and the faster pace, I think, to a very, very, it's starting to get like more and more like taking a toll, I think.
I was trying to think real quick. It's like, we only have 7 episodes left of this whole series for them to wrap everything up.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, can they really do that in a satisfying way at this point?
I don't know. Yeah. It's becoming more and more that I think in the moment this is like still really cool and fun. I think, this is not bad. This is really good. But I do think when we look at the series as a whole, we're going to look at season 7 and probably season 8 as like, well, they kind of had the rush to the finish line here. And they started to, I think this episode more than any of them is starting to lose a little bit of what made Game of Thrones to me. And it's becoming a lot more like action movie trope.
Yeah. I kind of figured it'd be kind of that for the end. I mean, not exactly excusing some of the complaints I know we're going to have, but, just the whole thing leading up to Daenerys coming up with the Westeros and having the war against whoever was on the Iron Throne, Cersei right now. Right. We all knew that was going to have a lot of action, and then we knew it was going to eventually have Jon and everyone against the White Walkers and the Night King and stuff. So I kind of figured that kind of stuff was coming, more action-focused than we've been used to. Yeah,
and I guess that kind of thing is going to happen when it's these band of characters that you like are fighting an army of undead people. It kind of screams like, your traditional sort of good against evil, crazy climactic finish. And just the writing in itself, like in Jordan, like it's the same way in the books where I'm like, it'll probably start to get more tropey towards the end just because of the nature of the thing. But I just expect them to kind of put a twist on it. Yeah. And I think there's multiple periods in this episode through all the stuff that was happening north of the wall. There was a few moments where they had the chance to throw this on its head and surprise me and surprise everyone watching and pull a Game of Thrones move. Yeah. And I feel like they had like multiple shots at it and they pulled back at the last second every single time.
I feel like we've had multiple of that this season. Yeah. Like chance where you think, okay, something Game of Thrones, the Game of Thrones moment's going to happen, but, and correct me, I guess we technically haven't had one this season.
No, the closest thing was probably like Olenna like Luna dying, but that wasn't really like a shocking thing. That was more
like, okay, Cersei and Jaime had a good strategy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a product of war. It wasn't this crazy like whip the carpet from under you, death like that move. Mm-hmm. No, I don't think this season. I mean, correct us if you're listening and we've forgotten about something, but as far as I remember, no. Like, most of the deaths have been kind of like secondary characters, like the Tarleys or this episode, Thoros. You know, people that we kind of know, but not really.
Yeah. They have names.
They do have names.
Like some other people who died.
But like the Tarleys, people can't even remember his name, Dickon.
Yeah. I mean, they might remember.
Yeah. So yeah, I think and there's with the Jaime thing before. Now this episode had like so many, whether it's Tormund or Jon or just any of the like 7 there, or whatever. The fact that the only one we lost was the one that you had to ask me what his name was.
I always forget his name,
and I understand he's a very secondary character, and that's just kind of indicative of this. And it's like it's not from lack of chances. There was times, I think we're going to get into it, I think Jon, with the way that they made this play out, Jon should be dead or a White Walker right now.
Yeah, well, him dying should have led the White Walker.
Yeah. That, like, there was a way they could have wrote it where he got out and I would still buy it. I even buy, like, Benjen. He's up there and he's already kind of magical or whatever anyway. Yeah. I could buy him saving him, but the fact that Jon got plunged underwater by a bunch of White Walkers, they're all around and everything, and then he's able to just like climb back out and stuff. I'm like,
Jon has so many of those moments, like in the Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah. But and it's like it's okay sometimes, but when it happens to the same character over and over again, the plot armor just becomes very obvious.
Yep,
very, very obvious.
Having a name was all the plot armor any of these characters needed.
It was. Poor Thoros.
Yeah. A name someone usually remembers.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, let's get into the nitty gritty with this. So, if you have not watched our Spoilercast before, we take this section by section. Basically, we usually just go location by location and talk about all the scenes that happened there, give our impressions, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, this week, well, they're more straightforward because there are technically 3 locations.
Yeah.
Most of it being, Jon's ragtag group of misfits.
Right, yes. Yeah. That's my favorite one.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot more condensed this week, but let's save that. Let's save the discussion of that for like later. Right now, let's go to Winterfell.
Yep.
Where we kind of had the escalation of the Arya and Sansa conflict that was set up last week by Littlefinger. And by the way, I guess we know. Sorry, I was gonna say like we know what that letter said. Now we know it anyway because Arya read it out loud. I'm being dumb. I'm sorry. My head's been hurting everyone. I'm kind of like spaced out.
I guess in case you didn't catch it, it was the letter that Cersei and them made Sansa write to Robb.
Yeah.
Back in season 1 before Ned even died.
Right. So I don't know about you, but I'm like unequivocally on Sansa's side. Like, but at least between Arya and Sansa with this, I think Arya is being ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what Arya's game is.
I'd still like this episode almost like I still don't think it did, but it almost like pushed forward the theories that this is not really Arya, that this is like a faceless man, or that she's, or that she's like she's not Arya anymore. Like she's like her mission is somebody else now.
I could see potentially Arya's just playing Sansa to get to Littlefinger. Potentially trying to out Littlefinger.
Yeah, I can't imagine what her plan would be, but
I don't know.
But yeah,
Darby, we've been saying this for years. What is Arya's point? What does all this lead to?
Well, we've been saying that, and we've been saying what's the Littlefinger's plan? Like what is Littlefinger's end goal? So like,
I think Littlefinger we kind of have an eye from.
Yeah. For the long run, but there's lots of mystery around him too. But I think that it's somewhat of an unpopular opinion, but especially I mean, like, at the very beginning, I think Arya was obviously everyone's favorite between Arya and Sansa because just Sansa was insufferable. But as the series has gone on, I think as a whole, Sansa, from, like, just me liking a character and from, like, strength of writing and strength of, like, the arc, I think Sansa is the more interesting of the two, I think.
Well, just probably because we have some idea where her story's going.
Yeah. But also, Sansa has a point when she's saying this. Like, Arya's, like, saying, like, oh, you gave in to them or whatever. You shouldn't, you, like, betrayed our family or whatever. And Sansa's like, yeah, what good would it have done if I had said, if I refused to write a letter or whatever, then they kill me and nothing changes. It's just like, she's just like Ned. And, like, Sansa has a point. She's the one who took back Winterfell. She's the one who, like, made things happen with this because she was smart enough to know I need to give in right now and plan to do later.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy that, like, I mean, Sansa doesn't like the Lannisters and doesn't like Joffrey. She was tortured and abused by him and everything. I think Sansa is just smarter than Arya. I think that's what it comes down to. And Sansa is smarter than Ned in a lot of ways. Ned was one of those that was, like, way too honorable to, you know, to his downfall. And I think Sansa is the one that's trying to break that, whereas Arya is one that would just plunge herself straight into death for no reason. Because from Sansa's point of view, like, when she had to write that letter, going against the Lannisters would have done nothing but killed her.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I think it'll come down to, like, what Sansa pretty much said, like, I was a kid, come on.
That too.
I know, he's like, well, she could have done it. It's like, she was a young, spoiled, noble girl.
Yeah. Well, and I still think it would have been foolish. It would have been stupid to do what Arya's saying anyway in that moment. So, but I'm not saying this. Like, I get it from Arya's. It makes sense in Arya's character and just with how, like, kind of messed up she is.
We say this stuff because we've seen all of Sansa's stuff. Like, I mean, Arya has no idea necessarily what Sansa went through, and Arya has his own arc or whatever that she came to the conclusions.
Right.
She's got to be the badass.
So, what what was the percent chance in your head that you thought that she was going to kill her? That Arya was going to kill her?
I go 40 at the time. At the time, I was like, is she going to do this?
Part of me thought that it was going to happen because of how much they had dodged other deaths this episode. I was like, oh, is that going to be the big twist?
That's what I was thinking.
I thought the big twist was going to be Jon and everyone goes north and fights White Walkers, but Sansa's the one that dies in this episode.
And Arya's the one who kills her.
Yeah.
Would have been interesting depending on what they did with it.
It would have been. Yeah. And I guess it's still not completely off the table, but I mean, now it's very unclear to me what Arya...
exactly. Like, again, going back to what I said, is she just doing all this is she manipulating Sansa so she can get to Littlefinger?
Yeah.
Because with all her ninja training, I could buy, like, Arya knowing Littlefinger was there and watching her and set her up or try to trick her.
Yeah.
I could see that with what they've shown.
I could too. Yeah.
So, let's wait and see.
Hopefully that's the kind of twist maybe next episode. Like, maybe Littlefinger goes down in some way next episode and it's revealed that...
I just want something to happen there because I felt like a lot of nothing's happened in Winterfell. I mean, I know we've got Bran and Arya there, but... has something really happened?
These last two episodes are the first time I feel like things have kind of been moving in more interesting ways, with Littlefinger hiding the note and then now with Arya and Sansa scene here. It just took until, like... But we've gotten Winterfell, like, every single episode. It just kind of took till now for it to matter, you know? Yeah. So I feel like I want some resolution to that this season. I don't want to have to wait till next season for a resolution on this, because then it's going to feel like, well, what was the point of a lot of this? You know?
You could potentially fit a good bit of this into next season to,
yeah, essentially. Yeah. Or just less scenes. So, I mean, do you have anything more on Arya and Sansa?
Not really.
I like them talking about, like, Ned. Like, Arya talking about Ned and the, like, courtyard or whatever. It was sweet for a minute until it got dark.
It's like, oh yeah, by the way, I knew you were conspiring with people who killed our family.
It's like, oh, sweet moment, it's gone.
Yep. So, I guess we only got one more thing to really talk about Winterfell. Sansa got a letter from King's Landing.
Yeah.
From Cersei being like, yo, come. And so Sansa's like, nah, I'm going to send Brienne.
Which I think is smart to not go.
Yes. And I think it's kind of smart on Sansa's part to send someone who's, Jaime likes.
Yeah, someone that maybe, like, Brienne has ties to both. Brienne, like, has someone on the inside of Cersei that, like, she knows, and she, but she's representing Sansa, so it's something, there might be some point there. And very interested to see how this affects, like, Jaime, Cersei, and Brienne. Like, Brienne coming and Jaime talking to her and being like, oh, I know her, and this or whatever. But if Cersei tries to pull something on Brienne, Jaime might not like that, you know. And that if it gets bad enough, if Cersei tries to kill Brienne or something, would Jaime like react? And how strong would Jaime's reaction be, or would he let it happen?
Or does something happen where Brienne attacks Cersei and then Jaime kills Brienne? Because we got to remember, as far as Jaime knows, and as far as we know, Cersei's pregnant.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And people have last episode when Cersei revealed she was pregnant, people looked at the subtitles on there, and when she was talking to Qyburn, like, you could barely hear it audio wise, but Qyburn says, I can get you something for that, and she said that won't be necessary.
Oh.
So it sounds like she's probably not lying. That sounds like I could get you something basically to abort the baby.
Okay.
So unless she like stage a conversation with Qyburn to trick Jaime too, which I don't even think Jaime heard that conversation, then she probably really is pregnant. So yeah. So yeah, that's I mean, interesting. I didn't really expect that. I'm guessing we'll see that next episode. Especially the pace everyone travels, Brienne will probably be there next episode.
I'm going to do a quick prediction thing. I mean, we usually get to that later when we go more in depth. I predict a lot of it's going to be in King's Landing. Because, especially how fast people travel, we'll probably see Brienne there. And then we could see Daenerys and Jon going there.
Yeah. Because that's also Tyrion and Daenerys talked about it.
I feel like they need to... That's something I don't feel like they can wait till next season to do.
No.
When say this whole episode's about getting...
Yeah, and this whole, like, to finally have, like, Daenerys and Cersei see face to face, see each other.
Yeah.
And have, like, Daenerys, Cersei, and Jon all in the same place.
I mean,
and
again...
Tyrion, potentially.
It has to lead to that, or what is Dany and Jon really going to do next episode? You can't not have them in next episode, especially since it's rumored to be 10 minutes longer than this one.
And this one was already, like, movie length almost anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely. So, could be interesting to have, like, Brienne also there, like, have all those people in King's Landing. I think I might have said it on the podcast last week, or I might not have thought about it until later. I am worried, kind of less worried now because the show seems to be wussing out of a lot of things, but in typical Game of Thrones fashion, I would be worried about the fact that Cersei said to Jaime, like, we could use this armistice, like, to our advantage and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm worried about her pulling some sort of Red Wedding, like, type thing, where Dany and Jon and everyone think they have a truce, and she gets them while they're not,
Well, this kind of leads into our next topic of conversation.
Yes.
Tyrion pretty much saying, like, hey, expect this might happen. Let's plan for that.
Yeah, like, so they are at least, like, on the defensive about something like this.
It's
happening.
not like with the Red Wedding when they weren't.
They completely unaware.
Well,
yeah. Like, he's expecting Cersei to maybe.
Yeah,
try
Tyrion's kind of expecting that. So,
right. So, like, I think this is. Granted, I don't really know what I would do, but this feels like a very kind of risky and maybe dumb, like the political decision to trust Cersei, and to trust Jaime to have a hold on Cersei. Granted, I guess Tyrion doesn't know just how far the power has gone into Cersei's hand. Like, Jaime's just basically along for the ride at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't trust Cersei, and I think that it's kind of dangerous to be walking into King's Landing, even with your army. walking into Cersei's home turf, within her walls seems very, very dangerous to me.
Yeah. I think, I hear you, but now, as we, see late in the episode, Daenerys is pretty much like, I saw that stuff now. I'm all in for stopping this. They killed my child.
Yeah, but you can't neglect Cersei because she could take advantage of the fact that you're going and fighting the White Walkers and strengthen her position, know? Yeah.
Yeah, just saying that for more why Daenerys will be in on the plan now.
Yeah.
Because she was pretty hesitant before.
She was.
Pretty much.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole... We're still kind of having the dilemma between, like, Tyrion and Dany about, like, how she's going forward as a leader and the whole breaking the wheel and line of succession and all that, and she's being like suspicious about him and stuff.
I think it makes sense. I mean,
it makes sense from their characters. I still am like not. I'm still trying to gauge where it's going to end up, like what kind of leader Dany's going to be. They're still making kind of like clues that it might go bad. Mm-hmm. But we also kind of like Daenerys and know she has a good heart, but she doesn't always have the best, methods.
I think towards the end, with everything, I think she might go more lighthearted, especially if she has Jon by her side. But, it seemed,
Yeah. I mean, I do like, I like this, though. I like this whole arc of, like, the struggle with her and Tyrion, and I like Tyrion's.
Again, makes sense, like, part of Daenerys obviously trusts Tyrion, but she can't completely ignore the fact that, he's a Lannister and the brother of her greatest enemy.
Yeah. And I would get it from her to, like, worry about him still being loyal to him. But I think even though, like, she's suspicious of him, and I understand why she's suspicious, he has a point when he's talking about, like, the line of succession and stuff. Yeah. Because, if Daenerys dies, then all of this is for nothing. You just have this foreign army here, just like leaderless. Yeah, and it's like, okay, what now? It is pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
yeah. Also, is Tyrion like leading towards like democracy or something? Because he said that like there's other ways of choosing a leader. He said the Night's Watch have their way, the Ironborn have their way. Both of those are like a form of voting. Like the Night's Watch does vote, and the King's Moot thing with the Ironborn, that's basically, it's more of a like savage shouting and killing each other voting, but it's voting nonetheless. And that's what a lot of people have theorized a lot with Game of Thrones, is that the political end of Game of Thrones could be like the establishment of like almost like in real life when medieval times, like we transition from kings into like democracy and stuff. That Game of Thrones will end in a democracy type thing.
Maybe.
And I think that that's showing the first signs of that.
No, Night King's gonna win. Then, I mean, he's gonna be the one true king.
And then he's gonna establish democracy. Yes. Like all the White Walkers will vote for their
They will go for the Night King because they are his loyal slaves.
Yes, yeah.
But he's going to make himself feel better thinking, I'm giving them choice.
He's the only one on the ballot box, but no one will run against them. It's weird. Yeah. Make Westeros great again, Jeff. Yes. Well, you got anything more on this?
Not really. I mean, there's only one non-Jon related scene in Dragonstone. So.
Yes. I will say, it's kind of a small thing, but I did like how... I like when Game of Thrones has like kind of casual conversations because they feel more realistic to me than just the always serious and talking about all this. I like Tyrion and Dany just kind of like sitting by the fire and just talking about. It's like he's talking about like Jon Snow's looking at you longingly, even though I think it's about the whole romance thing, but it is funny kind of having Tyrion. She's like, he's too little for me and stuff. I kind of like those moments a lot, and I think Tyrion and
we're getting less of those because of the fast pace, unfortunately.
We have, but Tyrion and Dany have had a few, and I think it helps make their connection more believable to me. I like it, so do more of those. But not too many, because I guess we gotta move. The story also has to move forward.
Make more episodes / seasons, HBO.
That is one thing
That's my advice.
All right, Jeff. Well, let's move to the real meat of the episode, which is John's ragtag group of misfits.
Yes.
So they really basically just tried to make every single pairing they could for conversations, which I enjoyed a lot.
Yes.
Because we've talked about this random group of people and excited to see the conversations, and it literally was just 2-on-2.
Yeah.
Basically everyone you could possibly have. And I thought it was really well the way they did it, interspersing that between everything in the episode instead of having it all.
Yeah, I'm glad they went the route of John's group, other place. John's group, other place. Yeah, kind of switching out, mixing up a little throughout.
And you knew you were building up to the action of John's group. But you still got the talking.
Yes.
With that, and it was really good. I liked that they addressed Gendry's past with the Brotherhood, and he's died 6 times. You don't hear him complaining about it.
Yes, he said it a little differently, but the Hound did.
He did.
Hound says a lot of things differently.
He does.
That we will say on this podcast.
We will not. We're trying to stay at least.
This is a family show.
Yeah.
About a non-family show.
Yeah. But how would you feel about all these conversations?
I enjoyed them. Can't think of one in particular that I rolled my eyes at or anything or didn't like.
No, yeah. There we go. It was some with Beric and Thoros being old friends, and then some with people who never met. I liked Jorah and John's interaction with Longclaw. I think was pretty moving. Just Jorah's whole story is kind of sad.
Yeah.
And that was a good place to come to a head on that. And I didn't really know if he was going to accept the sword or not. And
my head was thinking, John, you idiot, you need that.
Yeah, you probably need a Valyrian steel on you. I was like, John, think about all the plot armor you have.
Yeah.
Jorah doesn't have that. He could lose that sword if he dies.
The only reason he has plot armor right now is maybe because Daenerys isn't around.
Yeah.
That might be the only thing that saves him.
No, but he was definitely one of the ones that I thought might go.
Yeah.
Here, yeah. Yeah. I mean, just anything important, put it on John, because there's few things stronger than John's plot armor.
Yeah, I mean, it even brought him back to life once.
It did. Oh, and just sidebar. I didn't think about this until basically it was happening and he got attacked by that bear and stuff. Maybe leave the guy who can bring people back to life at the wall, and maybe don't put him in harm's way, Thoros.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But he can only bring one particular guy back to life.
That's still better. That's better than what any of the rest of them can do,
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but here's some logic to why they're bringing him around. It's well, then they got to carry his body all the way back.
Yeah, I mean,
before he becomes...
But Dude Man can also, wield a flaming sword. I mean, he's pretty valuable, but... I mean, it is what it is. I just thought, maybe he's a little more valuable than we were thinking, but,
But he had alcohol.
He did. Well,
yeah.
And the Hound took it.
Yeah. Someone needs to supply the alcohol.
Yeah.
It's a long trip.
It's a long trip.
Except when Gendry was running back. That was a short trip.
He just has, really strong legs, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
So zombie bear.
Yeah.
Apparently that can be a thing.
Well, apparently anything could be a zombie.
Which is, I'm down with.
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
Why should only humans be zombies? Come on. Be inclusive, Night King.
Yeah, diversity. Yes.
I'm proud of them.
Yeah, anything can be a zombie if it wants to be.
Anyone can be part of his army.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that thing was terrifying looking.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool way to start the action of this off. And I was confused. I was like, what is that? I thought it was a wolf at first.
Yeah. Then they said bear. I was like, okay, bear. And they said, wait, so when do bears have blue eyes? It's about to go down.
Yeah.
And then you see people try to fight that. I'm like, get some more of those bears. Night King may not even need all those.
Yeah.
Human.
Yeah. I thought and I was already starting to be oh boy, whenever it bit into Thoros, did all this, when they pick him back up, I'm like, okay, Thoros still alive.
And then it rips two no-names apart in an instant.
Oh yeah, again, if you're going up north and have no name,
Yeah.
Or the people don't know you. I'm so sorry, because like so many names.
I was surprised how many there were. I thought they ran out a couple times, and they just kept on coming.
Especially on The Rock. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we saw some aerial shots where we did not see that many.
I think we saw one, and then like 2 of them died or something.
I feel like 3 of them died, but I might be wrong.
I'm sure someone's gonna look through it and see if there were actually that many.
Yeah, but I just kind of felt like where are these people coming from?
The spawner, man.
Yeah, just spawn random wildling Night's Watch people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
John needs more allies to go die instead of him.
He's a little light, man.
Yeah.
Don't question his ways.
I will not.
Okay.
I will not. He can spawn as many people as he wants.
Yes.
I mean, like, we're just kind of like go randomly through all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Any more bear talk?
No, not really. Cool
CGI was very cool.
Yes,
on the bear. CGI is just getting like better and better.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like you said earlier, it's like, this is a TV show. In quotes.
Yeah.
Is, I mean, different.
It's getting more and more like a movie every episode.
I mean, yeah. I wonder if all the episodes next season are about this length for them.
People have said that there's going to be like some movie length episodes next season.
I'm okay with
season.
that.
I am too. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. We need all the time we can get.
Yep. I want more long episodes. I mean, this episode felt long, but not in a bad way. I was just like, heck yeah, just keep it coming.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really cool. Okay, so let's move on to their like actual battle between everyone.
Yeah.
Like getting the White Walker first. Apparently, you can if you kill a White Walker, it takes away all the people he turned. I guess. Or at least that's what they assumed. That's what they figured out happened because they killed the one that killed everyone else.
Yeah, except for the one, luckily.
Yeah, I guess he was part of someone else's group that he just happened to tag along with.
Like, you killed my body.
Which is interesting. That's some way to even the odds.
Yeah, so like, okay, if you can focus on those guys.
Yeah.
You'll take out a lot of other ones.
Yeah, it'll help a lot. And that might be like John's like, well, someone said the Night King turned all of them, so like maybe if you kill the Night King, you kill everyone, because it kind of seems to be like a hive mind type deal almost anyway.
Yeah.
That's all stemming from him.
Night King kills the generals, and the generals die means everyone else dies.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
logic sense is there.
we got it all there. We got it all. It all makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, like, when he killed one of the general dudes, John, earlier in Hardhome, if you notice, like, any of the other...
Any of them
like, just collapse or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or they didn't come up with that then.
They might not have come up with that then.
Yeah.
There's definitely some things that I think they're writing as they go.
Yeah.
That might be one of them. So, I could see that, yeah. Well... You guys, we lost one camera. Luckily, we have 2 going, so hopefully we end up having video for this. We just can't catch a break with video, Jeff.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about that, like, the shot of, like, when they do run away and they end up, like, in the lake, just the shot of, like, them sitting in the, like, center of the lake and all of, like, the White Walkers around them and the aerial shots, and then when you see, like, their glowing eyes, like, on the beach, it was like chilling. I'm like, jeez. That's a terrifying situation to just be sitting on this rock surrounded by dead
falling
people.
Asleep.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Imagine trying to sleep with, like, thousands of zombies staring at you.
Yeah.
Be pretty hard.
Yeah.
And you're like freezing your butt off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They survived it somehow.
They did. But Wayne, what'd you think about these shots though? I mean, like, just
greatly done. Not much more I can say.
This is true. Well, what do you want to talk about? What do you have on your...
I guess technically the next thing is Gendry being the fastest man alive.
Gendry was very fast. So I guess we'll get into, like, we're talking about our negative thing. This is
at least one of them.
This is kind of the first of our negative things that we're probably going to be listing off here. Gendry, it doesn't make... even when I try really hard, I mean, I know people get tired of like nitpicking, I guess, with time, but it's really, they're starting to do things that are every single episode that are kind of driving me crazy when it comes to time not making sense. And Gendry being able to go from like where they are all the way back to the wall get a raven. It goes all the way to Dragonstone. Danny gets it, reads it, gets ready, gets on their dragons, and flies all the way north of the wall to where Jon is in time for, like, Jon and them haven't froze to death or anything. So
or get weak enough where they can't fight at all.
Yeah, like, because they'd end up fighting off hordes of these things.
Yeah.
Like, more than anyone else has fought. They would, they should be weak. Because, like, the best I could do for, like, if Gendry is really, really fast and all these things happen really fast, the best I can give them is, like, maybe this happens in, like, 2 or 3 days. So, Gendry to get there and Danny to end up back. And it didn't look like 2 or 3 days.
No.
For them sitting there. And this is one of those, usually we can say, like, time passed or whatever. No, they were standing in a lake. They were, like, standing on a rock in a lake. Mm-hmm. And, like, sent him away and got there. So, yeah. Timing doesn't completely work out.
Yeah.
But
I know we could just take this in stride or everything, but it's hard to ignore.
It is. And there's starting to be a lot of these.
Yeah, again, it's the amount of these kind of things, and we'll get some more later, like, things are increasing as far as stuff we kind of gotta be like, this doesn't make any sense, but, yeah.
And I think it's fair to criticize these things. People, like, bring up the arguments that, like, it's a fantasy show, why are you complaining about this? But, I mean, like, there are rules that exist in this universe. Yeah. Dragons and magical stuff exists because they, like, put it forward there. And, of course, you said, okay, like, it's part of the world. But like, super speed and teleporting isn't. Like, in the whole series, it's made sense when people travel from here to here or whatever. So that should remain consistent. And I don't think it's, like, bad to complain when they just start to ignore these just for the sake of having this happen. Yeah. Because a lot of the writing now seems more about, like, we want these big things to happen, and they're not thinking about
how.
They're not thinking about the logistics really at all. Yeah. Like, not even a little bit. They're just like, yep, and then it happens when we get there. And you need to be writing in a different, you need to be writing about in a way that makes sense. That not just a way to hit the big moments that you want to hit, the climactic stuff. The other negative thing with this, it's kind of crazy to me that all of this happened, and the only person that died was Thoros. And I feel, again, the way that they shot this, I thought Tormund was gonna die or whatever, but he gets out of it, okay, whatever. But then they get on the dragon and leave Jon. Yep. I thought for sure, okay, well, Jon's gonna be dead and become a White Walker, and it was crazy to me. I'm like, holy crap! Like,
they're gonna kill him again.
The show's gonna do this. Like, he's gonna be a White Walker, and they're gonna have to, like, fight him. I thought he was gonna be basically like the Night King's right hand man, basically, like, going forward, and then we probably wouldn't see him until next season. And I was thinking, this is crazy. No, and then nope, he comes back up.
Thor, like, grabs his sword.
And, I mean, I know they're, like, mindless zombies, so maybe it just doesn't compute in their head, but, I mean, they plunge him down into the water, he's surrounded by him or whatever, and then he's able to come up, and they're all, like, leaving. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird to me. Yeah. And, it seems like they wanted to, it's kind of like the Jaime thing. Mm-hmm. They want to have the crazy climactic moment, but also continue on with their story the way that they had it originally. Mm-hmm. And it seems like if this is going to be the outcome, then maybe don't do that. Maybe just have Benjen right in there. Have some other way that, like, Jon can't get out. Yeah. But it's,
and again, rest in peace, no names.
So many of them.
All 4 of you that turned into, like, 6.
They multiply on the spot. Yeah. The other big bomb here that, unfortunately, Jeff got spoiled on is that Night's King now has a dragon. Yeah. Which apparently was Viserion. Yeah. I'll forget which ones which were the dragons. Anyway, I couldn't see their color, but that was crazy. Mm-hmm. It also, he's he's kind of the Night's King is kind of putting Bronn to shame when it comes to shooting spears or whatever. Or I guess he just throws a spear. Mm-hmm. That was pretty crazy. It just pierces him and there's like blood everywhere. I thought they did that in a really awesome way. It was visually crazy, and seeing the dragon like slide into the water was really good. And yeah, Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yep.
He is.
Yep. I'm gonna do a reference for Yu-Gi-Oh people. Night King sacrifices hundreds of zombies to summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Well, hopefully Jon and Daenerys have some trap cards and Dark Magicians. I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. I think
you know some words.
That's the extent of my Yu-Gi-Oh knowledge. I think I did it.
Yeah.
Kunai with chains.
Yeah. Time Wizard. But yeah, just going back a little bit because we talked about Benjen saving Jon or whatever. So is Benjen dead now? Dead.
I guess.
Is that his purpose in this whole thing?
Maybe
to save some Stark kids and then dying
twice. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be. That's the way that it's destined to go, or whatever. That's how he was.
Is that our big death of the episode?
That doesn't count. I mean, Benjen was already kind of dead.
I mean,
he already couldn't pass the wall.
Yeah.
And he's already like half dead, half not anyway.
Yeah.
I already thought there was like a little chance we ever get Benjen back anyway. So yeah, it doesn't really count as a hard hitting death to me.
Yeah.
And he's also a character that we haven't seen like, much at all. I mean, like we saw.
Since there was more to him.
Yeah.
Like, why is he that way?
Yeah, we don't get. I don't even remember it completely what he said. I think the children in the forest helped him, and that's what he said. But not 100% clear on that. What was I gonna say, Jeff?
I don't know. We were talking about the Night King and dragons and stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just gonna become a giant game of Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, I want to be against it.
So, how do you think the Night King uses said dragon?
Kill people?
Yes. Or do you think the dragon is gonna like fly north before the army, or is it gonna like just stay with them, or like can he control the dragon at will, like just wherever he goes? I mean, he does that with the other White Walkers, so I'm guessing it probably can.
Probably. He'll probably be riding it next time we see him.
And like, are Cersei's like scorpion things or whatever, are those going to be used to take down this dragon instead?
Yeah.
Or both?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can't see
find out.
Where it's going. Either way, it's cool. I'm expecting Jon to be riding. Now there's 2 dragons. So now it doesn't. Everyone was like, who's going to ride the 3rd dragon? Well, no one.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Night King. That's the answer.
Oh, God, yeah. Giant dragon battle in the air with Jon and Daenerys.
Yeah.
And then Night King riding the other one.
Yeah.
Even though if you kill the Night King and it kills everyone, maybe the Night King should not like throw himself into a dangerous situation like that.
But Darby, think how cool it would look.
It would look pretty cool.
That's all that matters now.
Also, again, it's not like we have any sort of pattern here anyway. Whatever. We're loose. We're just going everywhere. We did learn, I guess, the White Walkers or the zombies. I guess the White Walkers are the main ones, but whatever. The zombies have at least some level of intelligence and reasoning, because the Hound threw the rock.
Yeah.
They saw it didn't break, and they're like, "Oh, we can go across this." And they're like, "Okay, let's walk across it now." So they're not sentient enough to be able to make this, they're still just mindless slaves basically, but they have some level of reasoning. They're not just completely mindless, which I think was interesting, because it's never been clear on, are they just kill? Are they basically like robots, just programmed a certain way, or can they actually reason and do stuff like that?
We'll see how much that reason, where that reasoning gets them.
No.
They become sentient and overthrow the Night King.
I hope, maybe, and then there'll be a whole nother political struggle.
All hail Hodor.
Well, no, the Night King is going to try to marry another White Walker, and then at his wedding, they're all going to kill him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a zombie wedding.
All these crazy fan theories we're coming up with.
I think we got it. I think we figured it out, Jeff.
Yes.
We figured it out. So, is it time to move on to another thing that me and you kind of are maybe alone in not liking?
Yeah,
Which
well, is that kind of the last part now at this point? The only thing we got left?
it basically is.
Yeah.
Jon and Daenerys' weird romance came to a head.
Yep.
Okay, so I think there is some way this season could have been told, and it would have required it to be a 10-episode season.
Mm-hmm.
There's some way, as much as I don't like the idea of Jon and Daenerys getting together, there's some way that this scene that I saw there could have made sense and made me feel things or whatever, but it would have needed a lot more build up.
Yeah.
But with this rushed series, like this rushed season, and all of their like talking to each other and all their like romance building just being so rushed, and there was really only a few episodes and it happened too fast. This just does not feel earned at all to me.
Yeah, there were a couple of like big jumps. It was just kind of okay. They meet. Daenerys trying to be like hardcore ruler lady.
Yeah.
Like bend the knee, blah blah blah. And then they become a little bit nicer. Well, when they become a little bit nicer, they are actually into each other because reasons. Because they are attractive lead characters. And then it jumps. They kind of talk about their friends a little bit. The friends kind of joke to them about that, because reasons.
Yeah.
And then now they're in totally in love. Jump to that.
To where they're about to, I thought they were going to kiss or have sex or something.
Yeah.
That was like the implied thing that was about to happen. And they're like,
The only thing I kind of thought when I thought the same thing, the only thing I thought like, this is probably not going to happen because, well, Dragon just died.
Yeah. And John's like hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like,
it might be worth it.
Yeah, work through the pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to get hung up too much on it. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, this is the reality of the show. I kind of didn't want this to be where we went with it with Jon and Daenerys, but I mean, it is what it is now. I think there's. I mean, it's too late now. Like, they've gone this
so
far.
tropey.
With it. It is very tropey, and I think our last section of the Spoilercast, I just want to talk kind of about how tropey Game of Thrones is getting. But moving forward, I wonder, is this because Jon said he's gonna bend the knee,
but he can't right now.
Can't bend the knee right now, but so technically he hasn't. He can get out of it. But I never bent the knee. So I wonder what this means for going forward in the story. Will the Northmen follow him in that decision, or are they going to follow Sansa? Will Sansa follow him in that decision?
Okay, yeah, so here's the thing well, a lot of what I'm going to say just depends on how the Arya thing's going to go, because that could change a lot of things.
Yeah.
But we'll just take Arya out of it for a second, just sake of my argument. With that happening, just based on what we know, if Jon goes back and says, hey, I bent the knee to Dragon Queen Lady, they're going to be like, including Sam, and be like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, they pretty much have said so themselves.
Basically.
And they've been hitting at these people are going to side with Sansa anyway, but after that, yeah. Again, unless something changes, like with Arya does something or just something outside of all this.
Yeah. I'm sure you've thought about this, but, like, what if it could be Jon does go to Winterfell, and he says that I'm signing with Daenerys, like, she's a good ruler, you'll like her, you'll get over it, basically. We're doing this. Sansa, like, doesn't like it, speaks out against him, or whatever, and Sansa, like, but Jon is like, no, this is what we're doing, and that's final. Then Arya might witness Sansa trying to scheme to, like, overthrow Jon, and Arya kills Sansa, takes her face, and like stages as her, and like goes along with Jon.
Yeah,
it's like a long like thread of things that have to happen, but that's
True.
like what went in my head immediately.
Maybe
it'd be a very dark way of it going.
Yeah. Oh. Again, I don't know what Arya's end goal is.
Oh, and I don't know how far Sansa will go to go against Jon. I don't know what her limit is when it comes to this. But, interesting. Well, Jeff, what else do you want to talk about?
I don't know, Darby. Do you want to talk about some tropiness?
Oh, yeah.
And why it's killing TV?
Yeah, it's terrible. I just feel like I feel like there's if this story was being told kind of in the way that Game of Thrones, like the way it was written and like the like vibe of it back in like season 3 or older seasons, I feel like there would be a lot of things done differently.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a lot of ways this is starting to become, it's still really good, it's still like really fun television and stuff, but it's starting to become more of just like your typical action movie or a typical like, you know, type of arcs where, you know, the good guys versus the bad guys, or the hero like almost dies but then doesn't and falls in love and gets to the girl and does all the, you know. And this is the type of things that I feel like Game of Thrones kind of built itself on the fact they don't do this.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to more and more get that way.
Yeah.
And you see that just by that, you know, this whole excursion happens and no one dies. Jon almost dies 1,000 times. What they did, like, drove me crazy is the amount of times the White Walkers, like, with the nameless people, they attack immediately and start biting and ripping and doing all of this. When it's Tormund or Jon, anyone,
Like, oh no!
yeah, they jump up and like scream at them, basically, or just like breathe on them until someone else chops them off. And I'm like, come on. And that happened just too many times.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but Game of Thrones, like, up to this point, like, okay, anyone could die about any time, except for we knew Daenerys wasn't going to die.
There was a few people just for the sake of storytelling, but more than most stories, you actually had to worry.
But you know, they're leading towards getting all these characters together, and stuff, and interacting. But now they got all of them together, like the ones we care about all this time. They're afraid to kill any of them.
And they're still not dying. Yeah, they're still not dying.
And I'm not saying I need death for this to be enjoyable. I at least need it to make sense that why these people are not. No one's dying.
Yeah, the vague idea, like the general idea of like no one dying is fine, but when you put them in situations where it seems obvious that they should die,
or you have
don't,
like less than a dozen against 1,000 soldiers, and the only 5 that live are the people whose names people actually know.
Right.
That's just, I don't know, it's hard to believe.
It's pretty typical of this type of things, and they're starting to like, it wouldn't be as much of a problem if it didn't feel like they were bending over backwards to save the characters that we know. And it's starting to feel like they are doing that they're like stretching a lot to make the story that they want to tell happen. And it's just because, I mean, now at this point, and maybe they'll prove me wrong at some point, but there's a lot of, like, I don't worry as much about a lot of characters now, especially after this week. I'm like, well, geez. You know, there's some people, the plot armor is way thicker, and it used to be a thing where when I told people who didn't watch Game of Thrones about Game of Thrones, that was one of the things, like, the selling points on it. I was like, like, it breaks tradition. Like, there'll be people that you think, well, they obviously can't die. They're too important, and then they die.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and it happens spontaneously and by surprise and stuff. Can't say that much anymore.
No. I mean, we both thought that might have been happening with Jon. At this point, up to this, well, we're still at that point, obviously, after this episode. Like, Jon can't die. No, that's impossible at this point. Yeah. But we thought for a second, ooh, they might actually do it. Will they do it? And yeah, they didn't.
And it could, like, I mean, can you imagine how crazy that would have been?
Yeah.
Because it's still like Jon. I think Jon is like the prince who was promised, like the fulfiller of all that prophecy and everything. Because like part of it, I don't know how much they say about specifically the words of the prophecy in the show, but in the book at least, there's like so many things. It's like fire and ice. He is fire and ice, like Targaryen and Stark. Yeah. There's lots of other things. I'm forgetting some of them, but like Daenerys kind of fits them, but you have to stretch to make it work. Jon fits all of them like to a T. So I think Jon is, but maybe, I mean, they could have had some way he could have become a White Walker, but still something else happens later.
Well, I'm just going to say something that's kind of a hindsight thing. I mean, obviously we were in the moment when all that stuff was happening with Jon, so our imagination was running wild. In hindsight, there's no way that could have happened, because if this episode leaked and Jon died, people would have been screaming that from the mountaintops.
Probably.
The thing with the the whole dragon is, that's something people expected to happen at some point.
Yeah.
That was a predictable thing.
People,
we just didn't expect it before the episode aired. It happened now.
Yeah, if they did something like if John dying or something leaked, HBO might be in HBO's best interest to just go ahead and put it out.
Yeah.
Like, well, this is gonna get out of hand.
While the dragon thing is crazy, nothing crazy mind blowing happened technically in this episode.
No, and people have kind of predicted that might be a thing that happens anyway. I mean, the fact that I'm talking about a dragon being White Walker dragon.
Yeah, that's something I figured probably happened for a while.
Yeah, the thing that sucks about it is you had to go the whole episode knowing that Daenerys was going to end up there, which I didn't know until they sent Gendry and he was like, Daenerys is our only hope, you know. Mm-hmm. Until that moment, I didn't.
Yeah, and then I knew Daenerys was going there and what the outcome would be, or one of the outcomes. I technically didn't know who the fate of anyone else, but
yeah, you didn't know how they would escape or anything, but you knew that. Yeah. You know, because if they lost and the Night King killed them all or something, I don't think that would have been the news. You know, it wouldn't have been just reviving the dragon. And so, just the tropiness, I just think there's just moments this season. Jaime could have died, and that would have been crazy. Tormund could have died. It wouldn't have been crazy, but it would have been that's someone we know. You know,
that's someone we actually really like.
And I would have been like, dang, I would have felt something with that because I really like Tormund. He's really cool. And then Jon is the obvious big one where it's and that would have been the rug pulling out from under you moment where obviously Jon's not going to die. He's already been brought back once. He has to keep going, and then he does. Yeah. And because Daenerys talked about, remember, she said this episode, I like you, Tyrion, because you're not a hero. You don't you don't try to one up everyone running into stupid situations and get yourself killed. That's exactly what Jon was doing.
Yeah.
Jon could have jumped on the dragon, but he's like, nope, I'm going to go kill the Night King. I'm like, you idiot.
It didn't even sound like he was going for the Night King. He was just killing things.
And
he was swinging his sword wildly. It was stupid.
And then he changed his mind, I guess. Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm going to come now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jon makes some dumb decisions sometimes. Yeah. Like Battle of the Bastards, charging in alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like Jon has a death wish, but he just can't die.
Yeah. I mean, again, he died once, so. We can't say he can't die.
He just can't even stay dead. He's like, dang it, you people, I want to die.
Stupid Lord of Light.
Well, Jeff, I think we're getting close to an hour. You have any final things?
Well, obviously, overall, we have our problems, but we safe to say we liked the episode overall.
Yeah, the spectacle was crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like this was the most movie-like Game of Thrones there's ever been, and just shots and cinematography-wise was crazy.
Yeah,
and very very fun TV no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's just we expect a lot of this show at this point.
Yeah,
because of what they've done in the past, and some of the problems are hard to look past. Mm-hmm. But overall, I would even say
I will say this. We can say some of the problems is because they are having moved so fast. You would think by that logic they would be killing people off left and right. Mm-hmm. That's just turning into a whole thing of... I had this thought where we were talking about it. You were saying... I don't know, you mentioned something about... they're just trying to go to a certain goal or a certain story point. It's more like George was like, okay, here are the main story beats. Yeah. And then they're just doing anything they can to get there. And not, doing the Game of Thrones magic.
Yeah, I think so.
In some cases.
It's becoming, the whole show is becoming more about, story beats.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I think it was more kind of fluid with the way it was going.
Yeah. So, I guess if you don't have anything to say, I guess we can just do predictions for next week. Yeah. What we expect to see.
I think so.
I guess it's going to be a thing where, kind of like at the beginning of the season, we're just going to see all the majors or all the storylines. Mm-hmm. I mean, there'll be less of them because most of the storylines we saw at the beginning are now converged.
Condensed, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think a bunch of people are going to King's Landing.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that whole gathering there with Brienne and Jon.
I'm going to be legitimately upset if Jon or Dany are not going there.
Yeah.
If we have to wait a whole season for that, or if something crazy happens that, delays that's cool. Okay, that's fine, but,
Yeah. I feel like that's the proper, end cap of this, is that finally happens.
Yeah. See what's going on with Winterfell, I guess.
I think there's gonna be some big. Obviously, it's the finale, and they have to try to last year's finale was Cersei blowing up the scepter and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think there's gonna be some big things happening. There's no way that this meeting between all of them goes off without a hitch. Something's going down. Yeah, at least I hope. Yeah. I hope, but
I guess Sam will do something.
Yeah, either
show
Sam
up somewhere.
Shows up. Like I think he could either show up at the Tarly household or whatever and see his mom and stuff, or he'd show up at the wall.
I don't feel like he'll go to the Tarly house just because he left and stole stuff, so he's not welcome there.
But he could, I suppose, maybe hear about his dad or dying or something and go there. I'm not saying it's likely. Yeah. I'm saying it's a chance, or there's a chance he tries to leave Gilly and Sam there to be safe. Yeah. But
he's not going to meet up with Jon.
He told him he wouldn't do that. So
not going to meet up with Jon and Daenerys, and then he finds out Daenerys burned his family alive.
Drama.
Yeah, at least it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Are there any other, I guess, predictions or story things? Brienne and Jaime will react.
Something. I think either Littlefinger goes down next episode, or Littlefinger wins next episode, and Arya and Sansa like something bad happens between them, like one of them kills the other, something insane. I think one of those, either way, I think we're going to see the conclusion of the Littlefinger plot, I mean, maybe not if Littlefinger wins.
Littlefinger and Winterfell.
At least something big that is hard-hitting and kind of conclusive to what we've been building up all season with, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see the conclusion of that. I don't know. I feel like we might see Bran. I don't know in what way, but I feel like something might happen with that. And I think I could see the very, very last thing, the very last shot being the White Walkers, somehow coming through the wall.
Yeah.
Doing something to get past the wall.
That makes sense.
That could be the last shot, Mm-hmm. And, I can't really think of too much else that would be going on. I mean, there's going to be lots of things we can't foresee, obviously.
Yeah.
But, and obviously seeing what Cersei's reaction to seeing the White Walker will be.
She sees it, and she's still going to be plotting on how to screw over Daenerys.
She will, because she's horrible.
Yeah.
But also, to her, she'll be like, yeah, big deal, I have the mountain right here, he's a zombie too.
Yeah.
It's not new news to me.
But a whole army of mountains.
Well, before we get out of here, Jeff, do you have a highlight and low light? I mean, to be fair, I haven't thought of it either, but I can think of it on the fly.
Low light, the jumps in logic.
Yeah.
And that's just our main problems with the episode, really. I think it was the whole thing with us. We're okay with what they did for the most part. Okay, well, except for maybe no one dying, at least the way they did everything. Yeah. But we're generally okay with the story beats they did.
Yeah, I agree.
Where the stories are heading.
I think my low light is also those jumps in logic, and especially people not dying. That's kind of drove me crazy. I think my highlight is just that those crazy, specifically the cinematography of them on that lake and the shots of all the White Walkers around them.
Dragons showing up.
And that, seeing dragons burn them up and you see the lake melting and stuff and them crashing into the water. I think all that was just done so well. The way it goes. You can steal that one if you want.
Yeah, I was pretty much trying to find ways to words all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, all of it was impressive to me. There was just certain shots and stuff were just really all inspiring to me. But
forever low light, Jon and Dany.
Yep, forever and always. Sorry for you shippers, but all right, well, Jeff, it's past my bedtime.
We got Rick and Morty,
We have Rick and Morty. But then after that's past my bedtime. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
We will be back next week for the finale, grand finale.
And I guess season recap thing.
Yeah.
See how the whole season was.
Yep. It should be a fun time. So thank you for listening. If you want to check out our video game podcast, it's called Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I also post every week at the beginning of the week. Check that out. I think this last one was really, really good.
Yep.
Talked about some very interesting stuff. And yeah.
I believe that's it.
Yep. See you next week.
Yep. See ya.